Hi everybody, it's Diane here. As you read, we're making 2 traveler's notebooks for my Etsy shop just because I haven't for a while, and I did buy a few new scrapbook papers with journal covers in mind, so let's use them. Pretty, aren't these nice? It's the same company. And so these are cut 8.5 up, 9 across. The standard traveler's notebook is 8.5 by 4.5. Well, 4.5 by 8.5. That's the standard size. From here, you can do whatever you want. What I usually do is fold them in half and then put additional scrapbook paper to make tucks on each side, which I think kind of reinforces the edges in that. I like that. But you can do other things with the covers, but that's what we're doing. So what we're doing now is picking out paper for the strips on the inside. I pulled some. That's not bad. That was for the other one. That was for the other one. Yeah, that's Kaiser Craft. That's too thin. That's okay too. That's okay. What do you think? I suppose the bricks don't really go with the theme. Stop it. But it's not bad. That's a little dark. That's okay. It's kind of hard to tell with all of this here. It's blank on the back. No. Okay. That's kind of interesting. What do you think? Yeah, I think this matches better. But you can do the bricks on yours. Okay, that's for that. This inside is quite different from the outside. They're like old crates, bins, something like that. That's not too bad. That's fine. That could be interesting. And then this wood paper. I think that's too busy with all the lines. Yeah, okay, too busy. Okay, so it's bricks on this, or this, or this. Oh, why don't we do that? This goes more with the front. Okay, I'll put the covers together, and then we'll come back and pick out papers for pages. Okay, hang on. Okay, the covers are done as far as attaching the pockets. I sew around. I don't know if I said that. You can glue, but I sew. Okay, that worked out fine. Okay. I may put a label on. I don't know. I do that usually last. So let's pick some papers. I do 10. So here's some kind of old thing. Oh, look at the old phone. Isn't that cool? It doesn't even have a dial. Modern magneto telephone. It's actually kind of cool. It might be a little too modern for that old-fashioned looking stuff, huh? Maybe we'll bypass that. Okay, I have 2 coloring pages. That's good. I did grab some stuff ahead of time. 2 coffee dyed notebook papers. 2 Easter egg dyed notebook papers. 2 whatever this is, I bought at a garage sale papers. 2 old planners. I have 1 ledger and 1 construction paper. You know what, let's do this. We'll make this be the blue, what's this blue? Yeah, okay, that's the blue pile. This will be the green cover pile. And I have some nice older letterhead paper here. Okay. And then an old TV manual. Let's see, how many pages do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. All right. We'll include this then. 8. Who is covered? You must have proof of purchase to receive warranty service. Remember that. Okay. And if you really are trying to follow along and make one of these or something, the pages are 8 1/8 up, 8 1/2 across. However, I usually take bigger paper and do it at least one fold in. I don't know. What do you think? Oh, well, let's use one of these in the blue one. That's pretty. Okay. So that's, is that 9 or 8? This is why these things take time so long. I lost count. The other one, yeah, the other one was more green, right? Did we pass green? There's not a lot of green in here. I used all the green. That's greenish. Okay. Okay. Let's count again. 1. Okay, that's 9. At least I think so. I've learned to double check my counting. All right, I got some plain papers here. And then this just happened to come out with it. This is an old pad I've had forever. These are stickers I'll probably never use. No, 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 no. Well, nah. Okay. Okay. These are plainer than that last pad. Well, here's a nice, just a nice blue. And then where are some greens? Well, here, it's just a nice green. Okay. I have to cut and put them into a signature. Sometimes too, I'll, see once I'm cutting, but like shorter, narrower, I should say, pages. Like if you fold this in half, that's not much of a page. You can do that. It's kind of fun. But I will probably fold it more and then sew a paper to it. You could tape it, you could glue it to make it longer. Okay, come back and then we'll be up to embellishing the signatures. If I remember, I think I'll go ahead and do pockets by myself because that's just basically looking for paper that matches. It's boring. So we'll come up with, I'll add washi tape and embellishments and stuff like that. Okay, hang on. Okay, both signatures are together. They have a few pockets. I did a couple sewing things. Okay, let's just concentrate on one signature. It's going to take too long to show both on camera. So what Diane does next is washi tape. And keep in mind, this is this journal. Okay, so greens, flowers, old text stuff. Okay. I did sew this together. Sometimes I do put washi over the stitching, but I think in that case we'll skip it. But maybe we'll put it here. Okay, I have tape. I also have these rolls. Can you see this? You can't see this. Of stamps. Okay. Well, I grabbed this. I have a little shelf here with some tape on it too. I'm surrounded by washi tape. No. That would be the worst thing in the world to be surrounded by, right? Okay, that can go back. Okay, very good. You could certainly cut your edges nice and straight and neat if you care to. Sometimes I do. Most of the time I don't. What can I say? What about a sticker over here? Well, they're all stickers, right? But these are butterflies and dragonflies. Well, that would be fine. All right, I'll put it on the white. It'll show up better. These are not that sticky, in my humble opinion. That's straight. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's cover this stitching with what? I don't know. This map would match nicely. Yeah, but it has to do with floral and old text and stuff. Not a lot, but let's see. I like that though. That's nice. Okay. All right, which way should we put it? Because technically it goes this way. Let's do this. And I will say, you get with the lighting and whatnot, sometimes it's a little tricky to make sure it's straight. That looks pretty good. At least for some of us. All right. Off times, I think I will, off camera, I forgot. I take little scraps and cover some text just to kind of give people a head start. Just because I have scraps, so why not? Maybe something on top here. This is like postmarks, a ship, a label. Oh, it's kind of interesting. All right, let's do that. This one I will cut. And it's also hard to make sure you're looking at the right page, you know what I mean? Sometimes the top of another page is visible and you know, it's a big problem. Okay. Us junk journalers have it so rough, I know. No, maybe something up here. Would the insects do anything? I don't know. Is that, to me, that's just not attractive. The ladybug I can live with. I'll do something else with it. Butterflies are okay in my book. I haven't seen, usually we get a lot of red admirals. I don't think I've seen any yet this year. I don't know. Is that a moth though? I'm not sure. Whatever it is, I don't even think I've seen one. Well, you just said that, Diane, but I haven't. I still haven't. All right, that's kind of nifty. All right, that's kind of it. Let's put a stamp sticker thing here. Come back here. That would be cool. Should we do 2? Take 2, they're small. Okay. All right, and I know this didn't take long, but I'm going to pause, washi tape the other signature, put the washi tape away so we have room to add embellishment things. Sometimes I stamp in these books, sometimes I don't. I don't know. If I do that, I'll do that off camera. You don't watch me stamp. Okay, I'll be back. Just a minute. Okay. I picked a couple things just because I happened to see them. That should match nice. And this one, and I don't know about that, but it's small. I mean, you know, so we could use something. So I'll probably put a label or something there, so I'm not worried about that page. All right, what about, well, it's off white. Okay, how about a bird? And don't worry, I'm not gonna fussy cut now. That should look pretty nice. I don't do every page. That's, you know, a new owner's task, joy, problem. However you would like to phrase that. How about that there? Yeah, these, this is a flip-up pocket. I often do put something inside and out. How about a butterfly or moth? Well, how about this? Okay. I'll put that somewhere in there. And this, I have tickets that have flowers printed on them. Isn't that nice? Is this the blue one or the green one? Okay, it's the green. Yeah, too bad they don't match. I pulled some stuff ahead of time, so I have some things right here, although it may not be the correct thing. Yeah, I'll have to do something with that on my own. Okay. I did put in some papers. I did put in some stamping. That looks good. Okay. Yeah, this could use something on the side. This, I might just put a border because it's, you know, it has a nice print on it already. No, it doesn't stand out. Could do a ribbon too, rickrack, something like that. No, too busy. All right, what about a compliment type thing? That's not too bad. I don't think it's sensational, but it's not bad. No. does not stand out. Probably not. But, that's okay. I don't really like it, but feel free to use that in yours. It's a tape measure type thing. No, it doesn't really stand out. There's the same paper. I don't think that would look good. That's not bad. I think it's better than the red. Okay, I'll do that. Whoops. I think I will cut it a little narrower. All right. You want something over here? Well, what about one of those tickets that weren't cooperating before? Well, this green looks nice. We're here. Okay. It's kind of boring. I mean, kind of. It is boring. All right. This is a nice match. Okay. Well, it's funny. I just said I don't put stuff on every page, but then I usually, once I think I'm done, I go back and it's like, well, there's nothing there. That's kind of boring. Well, let's put something here. I end up putting stuff anyway. This could be interesting. Okay, something like that. As you noticed, I did just grab birds, butterflies, flowers, and a couple ticket things because of the cover of this. But I have houses, I have other things, who knows? I'll probably go back and add something. And I mainly did rubber stamping because I had time. This needs a border up here. So I said, I don't always do it. If you are new to that, be aware, cognizant. Ink stamping will show through, but here I have paper over. Here it's a thick paper. If you want to do it on something thin, that'll show through. Stamp it on white, well, whatever you want, white paper, and cut it out and put it on. Or don't put it on there. No. Or you can stamp it on thin paper and then glue something to the other side of it. But it's not my dog. If you hear a dog barking, it's a neighbor dog. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's a copy of old trim. Okay. All right, something on one of these. How about one of these butterflies has some yellow in it? The same with scrapbook paper. If you have a real thin paper, it will show through, depending. See, that's not too bad, but you know, some are real pattern on the back. It'll show through, which, you know, I'm trying to sell these, so I probably wouldn't do that if you can see through it. But if it's your own book, and say you could see through, well, you'll probably just write or something on the other side anyway, right? But since I'm trying to make these look nice for sale purposes, I don't do that, generally speaking. See, like, you can kind of see that. Okay, so I won't do that. No, not that. This is just white on the back. All right, let's put in some tulips. Okay. No. Well, maybe I'll let that go for now. Something here. Oops, my borders are falling. Just a sec. A label might be nice. Can you hold on for 8 more hours while I look for a label? They're in the bottom of my flower box. Which, you know, as dumb as that sounds, it kind of works. It's kind of convenient. This one is pretty. Let's see. I'm not sure how it'll look if it's not covering the whole area. All right, what's on the back of this? Oh, more things. Is that going to show through too much? No. No, you can't tell. That's kind of neat. Okay. Maybe just like something here, and then I think it's class dismissed. And I have to fussy cut all this stuff, put it on, and then do the other signature. And then I bind them, and then stuff already made journal cards and whatnot in the pockets, which is nice to have already made stuff. Okay, come back and they should be done. We'll do a final flip through. Hang on. Okay, everybody, all done. I think these turned out pretty nice. So they have 40 pages coming front and back. I don't think I mentioned that. And once again, they're 4.5 by 8.5. Scrapbook paper covers, as you saw. Scrapbook paper tucks on the front and inside covers. They're stitching all the way around. It's a 5-hole stitched binding. The covers are inked around the edges. I did not add anything to the covers. I think these are really pretty. If you want to buy it and put something on it, that's your business. I like them as is. So these are fully decorated, fully loaded. Here's a bookmark journaling card I made. Label here on the first page with just scrapbook paper. Scrapbook paper. This page is joined with stitching. It's scrapbook and old planner. Fabric flip here on an old letterhead paper. Washi tape, scrapbook paper. This is construction paper here. A pocket that flips up. Scrapbook. Scrapbook. This is an old Japanese postage stamp. And in the pocket here, we have a journaling card I made. This real S and H green stamps on there. Easter egg dyed notebook paper. Old ledger glued to an old TV guidebook. Scrap of paper. Here's some paper over that same TV guide. Well, it's not the TV guide, the TV instruction manual. Rubber stamp. This is scrap of paper flips out. Washi sticker. Some kind of old lightweight construction paper. Scrapbook, pattern tissue sewed on the side. Washi tape, coloring book page. Pocket here. Scrapbook, rubber stamp. Little booklet here. Scrapbook paper cover and just blank pages inside. Coffee dyed notebook paper. Okay, so we're going back. Scrapbook. This is a fabric cluster I made, and I was going to just sew it on just for decoration, but I left it so it can be a tuck. Old tickets there. Scrapbook paper. Scrapbook. Washi tape, rubber stamp. This paper on that same TV guide thing. Journaling card I made. Scrapbook paper. Scrapbook. Scrapbook. Say it with me. Scrapbook. This is a copy of an actual leaf printed out. Scrapbook, a little bit of coffee dyed notebook paper there. This flips. Washi stickers, rubber stamp. And then a little mini notepad back here. Scrapbook paper on the back. Each one is signed in the back. Okay, this one. They are not exactly the same. Some of the elements are sort of the same. Scrapbook. That's an off the internet image, printed out, fabric flip, washi, scrapbook paper. Here is the pocket in here. That is also a Japanese postage stamp. Booklet, blank papers, washi sticker. Once again, we have paper over some of the text, rubber stamping. This is scrapbook paper, scrapbook, journaling card I made, scrapbook paper pocket with scrapbook paper on it. This is a coloring book page here. Normally, I would have sewn this. It's sewn in the other one, this similar pocket. But if someone really wanted to color it, you know, that would impede that, so I glued it. I just think of everything, don't I? Scrapbook, pattern tissue on lightweight construction paper, washi tape, scrapbook paper image, coffee dyed notebook paper, scrapbook, scrapbook, rubber stamping, another fabric cluster here. That is copied and printed old trim, rubber stamping, some paper over once again, pocket, another journaling card I made. This is a real stamp. This is a faux stamp I made. Washi tape at the top there. Scrapbook, I drew in the antennas. Washi, scrapbook. Scrapbook, little washi tape there. I did put paper over because this just did not look nice with what was underneath there. Rubber stamping, washi stickers again. This flips out with a little scrapbook paper bird, and then the little notepad in here. Okay, well, thanks for watching and coming along. These are available in my shop for purchase. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a nice day.